Good afternoon, all. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Adash Sredin. I work with Southern Water, and I'm also the current PDN chair. So today we've got Jamie from Wales and West Utilities and Siobhan from Cadent, who are going to be talking about the paper competition essentially and giving feedback on their experience and a few tips here and there on how you can enter the competition and what to expect from it. So without further ado, Siobhan and Jamie, if you'd like to switch on your camera and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adash. So, I'm Shivan, a graduate engineer from Cadent Gas. I'll be presenting on my experience of winning the PDN competition, and I'll give you a brief background on the competition, discuss its format, and then share my personal journey through the regional and national finals alongside JB, who is also a finalist, and he'll also share his experience as well. So, going into what is the PDN competition? Well, the Professional Development Network competition is an annual event hosted by the Pipeline Industry Guild. It's designed for young professionals aged 18 to 35 in the pipeline industry and welcomes presentations from all business functions, not just engineering. And the competition offers a unique platform to share ideas, showcase innovation, and connect with peers across the sector. Now, entries for next year's competition are now open, and since the beginning of October, and it will be through till the end of November. So, if you have a project or topic you're passionate about, now is the perfect time to start preparing your synopsis to apply. So, why should you apply? Well, it's a fantastic way to advance your professional development. If you're working towards Eng Tech, Incorporated Engineer, or chartered engineering status, it's an excellent opportunity to gather evidence and showcase your achievements. You'll gain industry exposure to people and companies you might have not encountered otherwise, helping build your personal brand, which ties in nicely with networking and getting your name out there. Public speaking is a good skill that you can have throughout your life, but being able to present is essential. But telling a story and engaging the audience is one of the key skills that this competition allows you to practice and perfect. And let's not forget about the rewards. So winners will receive a tax-free cash prize. I'll discuss more on that later. Your name will be engraved in the prestigious Pig Trophy, and your work and findings will be published in the Pig newsletter, further boosting your profile and recognition within the industry. So, the format of the competition, how does it work? Well, starts off with submitting a 250-word synopsis about your project. The synopsis is evaluated based on three criteria: relevance to the industry, originality of the material and quality of it, and your degree of personal involvement. If your synopsis is successful at this stage, you'll move on to the regional finals, where you'll deliver a 15-minute presentation on your topic. And this covers 8 regions: London, Midlands, East of England, North of England, Wales West, and so on. And at the regional stage, your presentations are judged on the quality and enthusiasm of delivery, engagement, your ability to handle questions, and overall presentation delivery. The regional winners will receive £250, their name engraved in the trophy, and runners-up gets £100. Now, all regional winners will then advance to the national finals, where the challenge is you have to condense your 15-minute presentation into just one slide and 5 minutes, and the national winner will receive a £500 cash prize. So let me talk you through my journey in the competition. It all began with submitting the 250-word synopsis on a project I've been leading, focused on the vented surface covers, which you can see in the bottom middle left of the slide. So to give you some context, when gas escapes from a leaking pipe, it naturally seeks the easiest path to escape, often traveling through joints or cracks in open reach ducts that contain a fiber optic. So because gas is lighter than air, it tends to accumulate in these chambers, leading to a buildup of gas, which is a safety concern because any ignition would cause an explosion. So when repairs are carried out on the gas network, it's standard practice to vent out these inspection chambers to remove any trapped gas before work begins. So traditionally, after removing the BT covers out the ground, we put up barriers like you can see in the image here, and we'll put up no smoking signs. But this method can obstruct the footway and create hazards for pedestrians. So the product I was developing replaced the barriers with a vented footway board. And the idea for my presentation came directly from the very first major project after joining the industry. Having developed extensive knowledge of product design and development at uni, talking about this project felt completely natural and allowed me to highlight innovation and design skills I'd just spent years studying at uni. So this is the topic I presented at the regional and national finals. But I wanted to share some personal reflection of the genuine, the messy, and like the important lessons I learned about what makes a presentation not just good, but unforgettable. And the first lesson was this: presentations don't rise or fall on the quality of your ideas, but they rise or fall on three different things. It's the quality of the idea, the power of the narrative, and the passion of the speaker. So if you're not fired up about your idea, the audience won't be either. And the slides are merely just a visual backup. Your energy and your story are the main event. And this brings me to the fundamental structure of presentation success. And it's called the power of three. Every moment on stage should be aimed at achieving the sequence. So the attention, hook them immediately, give them a reason, to put their phones away. And then you want to start with afterwards the understandings. So simplify complexity, make your idea crystal clear, and then recall. Give them something to take home. If they remember one thing the next day, you've succeeded here. So how do we move an audience from passive listening to active engagement? First, you need to think of yourself not as a lecturer, but as a guide. You're there to transform the audience. They should leave the room feeling, thinking, or knowing something they didn't before. They need at least one valuable takeaway. So to achieve this type of transformation, you need engaging tools. So stuff like questions. Don't just ask for agreement. Use rhetorical questions to frame a point, or quick polling questions to get them involved. You can ask people by a show of hands and stuff like that. And then stuff like demonstrations. So show people, don't just tell. For example, during my finals presentation, as you can see on the image on the right, I laid a set of barriers across the door to the stage, and it caused a brief, annoying disruption. And it instantly emphasized my point about physical barriers being a real hindrance. So if you're thinking about your presentation, think about, could you do a live demo of the process? Could you share a physical prop, or could you walk the audience through an example? And then there's visual props, whether it's a physical item you bought or a simple, powerful image on your slides. Visuals are, the language of memory. Now, here are my practical tips that I realized throughout the competition. Practice, but not too much. Rehearse to solidify your transitioning timing, but stop before you sound robotic. You want to know the material, not just memorize the script. This one came in a lot useful for me. Planning for tech failures. So assume the projector won't work, or the mic will cut out, or the internet will drop, or something like that. Have a backup, have printed notes and stuff like that. So when the inevitable hiccup happens, you can handle it with grace. Sticking to time. If you've got a 5-minute time limit or 15 minutes, know your material well, that you can gracefully cut out sections if you're running late. Starting and finishing with a bang. So the opening hook must emotionally or intellectually engage them, but the conclusion must be a powerful call to action, something single or a memorable summary. Don't let your presentation fizzle out at the end. And then develop a stage presence, but be authentic. So stand tall, move purposefully, occupy the space in front of you. But most importantly, be you. Audiences can sense a performance versus like a genuine conversation. And authenticity is key when you do these types of things. Now, something that I had to tell myself a lot, nerves are not a disaster. The audience expects you to be nervous. It shows that you care. And varying your tone. So use the power of the pause. Speak in highs and lows. Change your pace. But Your most powerful tool is silence. A well-placed pause forces the audience to catch up and absorb the weight of your last statement. So participate in the competition. Show me that the greatest speakers aren't those with the fanciest slides. They're the ones who care deeply about their idea and approach the stage with authenticity. So for your next presentation, don't just ask yourself, how can I deliver this? Ask, what should the audience take away from this? And then start with that, and then the delivery will follow. So I'll hand it over to Jamie now, who will talk about his experience.
Thanks, mate. So I'm Jamie Kinsey. I'm from Wales and West Utilities, and my role is the Engineering Compliance Manager for Wales. So a bit about why I entered the PDN Paper Competition. So 2024-25 then was my second attempt. I got through to the regional final based on my synopsis, where I presented my idea. So my idea was something that we've been working on within my department. And again, going back to what was mentioned earlier, it doesn't have to be purely engineering based. So my idea stemmed from something we've been working on, which was engineering briefings to our operational managers. So yes, it's engineering in terms of the content that we put into it, but it's also how we brief the information and how we get it across. So similar to what Siobhan just mentioned there about the presentation techniques, this is something that we had to work on in terms of delivering our briefings. So basically, we get a load of operational managers into a room. We do it every year. We hold just over 20 sessions in total. So they take in their time out of their day to come to us, and obviously we put a lot of work in to make sure we get the information, and it's going to be valuable for them to walk away with. So my idea stemmed from that and the techniques that we put into it. So he was trying to make things a bit more engaging and a bit more fun. So my idea was turning a health and safety engineering update day into a bit of a game. So we used Monopoly as a concept and we gamified it to have some negatives and positives as they roll the dice. So I was lucky enough to present this at the regional final, where I was lucky to win and go through to the national. So the national one is where it gets fun, where, like Siobhan mentioned, you get 5 minutes with one slide and a Q&A. So you've got to get creative. You've got to really test your PowerPoint skills as well as getting your message across. So for mine, for my one slide, I used the power of ChatGPT then to create some characters. So the message I wanted to get across was how we can make tedious, repetitive health and safety content into something fun and something memorable. So I do watch a few TED Talks, and I remember one where they turn the information that they want to get across to the audience into a story. So I think the one I seen was how to memorize all of the presidents from the USA, but I used it to basically brief separation distances from electrofusion fittings when it comes to distribution and mains replacement. So I've done that with the help of my characters, as you can see on the screen, Terry Topty and Colin the Coupler. And I think it came across quite well. So we used this, we turned it into a bit of a game on stage. And like Siobhan mentioned, the props and everything were important, but it was just trying to be different. So that's basically it from me and my journey, what I presented. But again, it doesn't have to be anything too technical. It doesn't have to be anything that is engineering related. It can be anything in terms of what you're working on, anything you're proud of. I was particularly proud of mine, and I wanted to share it with other departments, other companies, and just get it out there because I thought it was held some value, and I was quite passionate about it. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you both. That was a great presentation on both of you's part. If there are any questions, like Sarah mentioned in the chat, please put it in the chat and we'll tackle them basically. Alternatively, please feel free to raise your hand and ask the question as well. Give it a minute. Yeah, Valentina.
Yeah, hello. One of my questions about this competition is about the abstract that we have to send. Does it have to be really technical, or is it valuable also to be creative in the abstract as you can be creative in the presentation?
Yeah. I'll let Siobhan or Jamie answer based on your experience, how you found it first, and then yeah, I'll answer it as well.
Yeah.
For me, oh sorry.
Yeah,
For
go
me,
for it.
it can be a good balance. Obviously, if it's going to be something technical that you've been working on, then it's good to get that across. But you just got to bear in mind that people from other industries might not be aware or might not be as technically aware of the things that you're trying to get across. So it's good to simplify it so people have an understanding of what you're trying to get across. And I think a good way of doing that is by being creative.
Yeah, Siobhan.
Yeah, I agree with Jamie's point. Simplifying it, because you don't know who the judge is that's going to be marking your synopsis, but also mention specifically what you've done in the project, and it helps paint a picture for your involvement in the project.
Yeah, thank you both. Yeah, just an overview from having been in many of these judging part of the judges before. Like they've both mentioned, it's good to have it very simplified because, for example, I'm from a water background. So if someone's talking really technically things regarding a gas background, I might not be able to fully comprehend. At the same time, we've got three judges who will be from different backgrounds, so that will be collected to a certain degree. But yeah, the simpler, the better, basically. It's as if you're trying to present to someone who doesn't really have a clue or about what exactly you're referring to in terms of the technicalities. So simplifying it really helps. The same will go for at the later stage as well. So for your presentations, where, for example, previously there were people who presented with the notion that it's technically experts that are in their audience, which isn't really accurate. So yeah, again, simplifying it, there's no harm in it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If I may ask another question from
Sure,
your answers that make me think about it, because you are mentioning that the abstract should show your personal contribution to the project. So it's better to do that narrative, like the personal contribution, and not the whole company project.
Yeah. So a slight oversight on what the actual project is will be helpful just to help paint the picture. And the next one I would suggest would be your personal angle into it, conscious that it's only 250 words, so it's quite limited there. So a very short summary of what the project entail, followed by what you've done within that project would be helpful, yeah. Because we're trying to showcase your own contribution to that idea as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries. Anyone else has any questions they'd like to ask? Or any tips?
Sorry, I will say as well in terms of the presentation that I think the level is definitely getting good in terms of the presentations that were contributed in the regional and national finals as well. So it is good to be as creative and as out there as possible. Don't feel like you have to stick to the kind of norm of company templates in terms of your presentation. It's good to stand out. So if you've got an idea which totally goes off the wall to how a normal PowerPoint presentation is presented, I definitely say to go for it. Go all in with it.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah. I'll add on to this. So based on last year's one, we had a few technical ones that came through the different regions, and then we had For example, Jamie's one, which wasn't technical, it was more around an idea of a new approach. So his was called alternative briefing methods. So again, it doesn't have to be technical. If it's technical, brilliant, but if it's not, that's fine as well. Again, just proposing a few options of what came through last year. We had reducing maintenance emissions for natural gas sector there. You've got trend of power generation sites. Another idea on decarbonisation, and then Jamie's one. You had Siobhan's one as well. So it's very broad range of ideas essentially. Another thing I'd like to add, if you go on the Guild website, that there are examples of previous papers that came through. So that'll give you an idea as well of, what it's like and the actual broad field of entrants that we had. Any more? No, that's it. Thank you all for joining us today. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach to either of us, and we will try to help, of course. So yeah, thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Oh, sorry, just since you are here, I may ask because I sent an email and I didn't receive an answer. So is there just a company can participate with multiple people, or is just one company?
No, multiple people from the same company can enter the competition. We are conscious that there are companies that are spread across the UK working on different projects, so we don't want to be a blocker of those participants coming to the fore, really.
Okay, great, thank you.
No worries, thank you. Yeah, unless anyone has any further questions, we'll call it there. So thank you all for your time.